It's 9 o'clock and I'm on time. Good morning, good morning. And it is a Monday morning. It's a Monday morning and I'm on time. Can you believe it? Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out myself, but I don't know. I packed so much in over the weekend that I was going a little bonkers by last night, but I'm up this morning and have already taken out the garbage and done all the things that you're supposed to do before you go to work. So this I consider like my work, even though I'm working in my house. So it's just one of those mornings, but it's a good morning. It's a morning. How's your morning going? Hope it's going well. I did a little uh, thing over the weekend with some celebrations that people were having with, young ladies that were receiving money for college. And that was really excellent to see. Some of these young ladies, they had, GPAs of high school GPAs of 4.2, 3.8, and I remember high school. I didn't realize until my last year of high school that I might have the all of it, all of what was necessary to go on to college. So for someone to really work with you so that at the end of your high school year, you're really showing that you're made of the material that says that I will be successful. But someone instilled that in me my last year. So I was real excited for these young ladies. And I got to talk with one of them. There were a total of six. And it was put on by Beta Phi, Zeta Phi Beta. And it was really, really a nice event. But it gave me my point of conversation with you all for this morning, and that is travel. Because it wasn't here; it was over on the beach, and beach always may have some more people over there because it's on the water. The views are beautiful. Generally, the food is good, and it's a place where people drink and have a good time. So anyway, not thinking anything about that. My friend with my girlfriend that was supposed to go with me, a friend of mine supposed to go with me, had to work, so she couldn't go. So I said, "Don't worry, I can do it," and I did it. But it took me longer to get there, and the traffic was horrible. And then when I got over there, I couldn't find a parking space everywhere, and it was at the Hilton. So all of the Hilton spaces, including their garage, were all taken. And then next to that, I believe it was I think it was a Holiday Inn. And then there was another one. I don't even know where I parked, but I parked two lots over, which was a good walk. Trying to be cute, you can't be walking too far. But I made it. I made it, and other people were over that way too. So we were all walking back to where the event was being held at the Hilton. So I finally asked somebody. I said, "What's going on?" I said, "It's so early in the year. We're still only in March." And the young man said to me, "Oh, it is spring break." So, you know, those of us who don't have, a spring break kind of thing, a connection with our kids or whatever, then we forget all about it. But that was what was going on. So anyway, our word today is travel. Good morning, Joan. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry I made that picture was wonderful and it looked like you, but then when she wrote back and I saw her face, I said, it is her. Anyway, that was still a beautiful picture. You all did look like it was a fun event that you all had. But anyway, today our word is travel. Travel. How many of us travel? Many of us do. Generally, I'm not a big traveler like around in the area, but Saturday, my daughter and decided to drive over to Fairhope, Alabama. Well, I tell you, it was so pretty. We saw horses and cows, and the land was just so green, and all of the flowers that were out, the azaleas. My azaleas already died, but they were beautiful when they were out. But they had beautiful azaleas out, and it was just a wonderful springtimey day, And we drove over there to stop at this Piggly Wiggly. Yes, there is a place. They still have the Piggly Wiggly, which was made famous, of course, with Driving Miss Daisy. And of course, I was driving, so I wasn't letting my daughter think I was Miss Daisy yet. But anyway, we went over there, and there's a place over there that we like, and it used to be here in Florida, but they moved. He moved over there, and they have all kinds of different things, different foods and breads and everything from what I was used to from when I lived in Europe. So, I said, "Oh, I'm good. Let's go over there." I don't ever get much, but if you don't stay on them, you have a lot. So I kept telling them, "Nope, I only want $5, $3, whatever," only because I know it would go to waste. But it was a fun time just for my daughter and I. But we were traveling there, and there, guess what? There were a lot of cars on the road. That's because Gulf Shores is over there, which is another place. And Orange Beach, all those places are where people do a lot of traveling. Hey, Cheryl. And then, of course, yesterday, I see Cheryl coming on. Yesterday, our church, we went back into Alabama. So, yeah, I've been traveling all weekend. This is how this word came up. We went up to Selma to go to a church up there where our pastor preached, and we the choir and the members were able to attend that event with him, and that was fun. So traveling is something that we like to do. Some of us may not like to do it. I've met people who have hardly been off their block, or none of them have been out of their city or their town, and that to me is amazing. The world is so huge. And so for me personally, I want to travel. I want to go as long as I can. And I said, after this year, this is between last year and this year, I traveled. Of course, I went to Australia and I went to New York last year. I want to go back to New York in the wintertime, only because I want to see the lights, the Christmas lights, and I want to go and walk, of course, Fifth Avenue and see all of that. Good morning, Maurice. How are you doing? Yes, we love to travel. Yeah, I know, Cheryl. You and Carney love to travel. Maurice, you love to travel. You're a cruiser. You and Gwendolyn. Yeah, y'all like, and Joan too. That's another cruiser. She and Jim. Yes. And Debbie. Debbie, good morning. Good morning, Debbie. Debbie, do you like to travel? Well, happy Monday, y'all. But yes, I do. I am definitely a person who likes to pack up a little things and go. And sometimes I just like to do day trips. We don't have to be gone a long time. But I love day trips. I love, I'm not a big sampler of different things in terms of foods and stuff. But you know, usually if I go out to eat something, it's probably going to be the same thing. Like you can't mess up chicken wings too much, okay? Unless they're not cooked. Oh yeah. I know Maurice loves to travel. But anyway, I went and I looked up some statistics, and it says love seeing new things. Yeah, me too. Me too, Debbie. It says this I got from the travelandleisure.com website, and it says while there's a sizable, and some of this also came from the US travel data information. It says while a sizable 40% of respondents plan to travel more this year in 2024, it says that figure is down 9% points compared to our 2023 survey findings. I think that has more to do with people not taking the surveys. That's just me. It says, but roughly 39% of travelers say their budgets for travel in 2024 will be higher than their budgets for 2023. Comparatively, 45% of the survey respondents said the same for last year. So meaning that people plan on still traveling, regardless of, the fact that things have increased in cost. It says, love the nail pot. I know I painted my nails. Can you believe it? That's because I was going to an event. It'd be off because I don't use the gels or anything because I don't use that. It mess up your nails. But thank you. This is called Slade. Slade. And it's by, I don't know who it's by, but I know it's called Slade. I'll look it up and text it to you. And it says, I love the history of the places. Me too. When I go someplace, I want to know a little bit. I would have loved, and I've been over the bridge before, but I'd love to have walked the bridge yesterday in Selma. But we didn't have time for that because by the time it was relatively a long time to get there. I felt like what 3 hours, maybe three and a half. I don't know. But anyway, the other information I found this morning, it says the majority of respondents are planning major milestone like trips. I have a nephew that travels all over the world. Every time he'll send me, little postcards, and he's in Dubai, or he's been to Japan, he's been to all of the countries in South America, you name it, he has been there. And I'm always so surprised. So he always says, yeah, we're going to do this. So he says he wants to go back to Dubai. And I said, will you take your auntie? He said, sure. So maybe I get to go to Dubai, but I'm interested in knowing what I really want to go to Egypt. Just because I want to see the pyramids. I would like to experience. I don't want to be that close to giraffes, but I want to see them. Okay. I don't want to be that close to an elephant, but I want to see them. Now, I've certainly seen elephants and different animals at the various zoos I went to. Last year when I went to Australia, I did go see the zoo. Their local zoo was really, really wonderful. I love the history of the places we've cruised to. Yeah, you all are just great cruisers. Oh, it was 3 hours. Okay. So anyway, let me finish. It says planning a milestone trip, even if there isn't necessarily an occasion to celebrate. So people are traveling just to travel. They just want to have a good time. I think what happened is that we, coming out of that pandemic, realized that we needed to see people and we needed to see things, because how much can the walls of your house do for you? The history. You probably can't remember some of the the things where you got them from, but in many instances you can in your house. But there's no interest in that. It's just those are your comforts. Those are the things that kind of surround you, of making you feel comfortable. But for the most part, the traveling is what gets the juices of wow. That was just really neat to understand. I remember when we lived in Italy, we went to the catacombs, and oh man, you go down into almost like a cave kind of thing, and oh my goodness, and they had all of these. Well, they basically were children that were mummified, but they looked like they were just people that were asleep. And I was just amazed at that. I said, look at this. And they looked like they were just asleep. And it was based on I guess the subterranean that the bodies were being stored at, kept them where they did not have a rotting effect. That was just really interesting to me. It was amazing, Debbie. Thank you. It says travel just to get out of the house. That's right. Me too. And it says, well, anyway, it says 84% of people surveyed plan to spend more of the same amount of money on travel from 24 from the last year, this time of 2023. So people plan to travel, And so, I ask you, do you plan on traveling this year? Put a yes in there. Even if it's, going to visit family, and family's only 2-3 hours away. I want to go to New York, maybe in December, as I said. So maybe my daughter and I will do that. I don't know. It's so expensive. It's gotten to the point, it used to be that you could buy a plane ticket. Good morning. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning. Oh, yes, going to Colorado and visit my son. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, for Joan. The plan is as I said, I'd love to go home, but a ticket to New York from Florida has gotten so, just absolutely outrageous. I think last year when we went home and we bought those tickets, I bought those tickets in January for a June trip. And it used to be you could have 2 months out and get a good, no. It was very expensive. traveling to New Jersey. Good, good, good. Everybody's going someplace. So anyway, it ends up being just so expensive to travel. But the tickets we bought last year, I think it ended up being for 2 tickets. The tickets were 700 and some odd dollars each. And I kept going back thinking I was going to get a better rate. But as I was getting closer into the ending of January, I thought I wasn't going to get a better rate. So I just went out and bought the tickets. Fort Collins is where she's going. Well, anyway, let's talk about travel. This is what is travel. It's to go from one place to another, typically over a distance or some length. And it means that we can travel. What is your preference of travel? Good morning, Adelia. What's your preference of travel? Is it train, plane, car, walking? I know you can't walk. I know you can't walk very far, but I met some people that are I think they call them Volkswagens, but they walk like in Germany. They have these different, I guess, races and tournaments that people can just walk in, and they walk all over Germany at different times to different locations. And there's some clubs that are formed. I think if I lived there, I would be a part of that club. I don't know why I can't get into it here, because they do have some people that walk. It says, hoping to go to New York in the autumn. I love the autumn in New York, Carolyn. I love it. It's my favorite time of year because I went to Oneonta State, which is right in the valley below Albany and, not far from Cornell University. Oh my goodness. You talk about beautiful. You can look from one hill, because we were on a hill, and then Hartwood College was on the other hill. So we could look from our hill into the other hill, and it was just absolute beauty. The purple, they had a hue of purple, but it was mostly the oranges, the yellows, the greens, the reds. So stunning, so good. You guys enjoy that. It says our youngest daughter and family live in Aria. Wow. Car for you, Sherry. Okay, I'm sorry. My husband family is in Fort Collins. My son is in Centennial. Yeah, I like the autumn and so I've been to most of the New England states. Most of them. We used to drive up to Vermont from New York, and that was always really fun on Route 4. We would just drive up there, and it was just always very pleasant to see the autumn changes and sample the food, of course, buy the maple syrup, and then we go to the Cabot. If you ever heard of Cabot cheese, they have a Cabot store that is absolutely mind-blowing. In fact, we used to be able to get their one cheese that I like, which is the New York. They have the New York and they have the Vermont, different cheddars. And we used to be able to get it here, the New York, and they stopped selling New York. So now you can only get Vermont, which is sad to me. So I wrote them and said, why can I not get that cheese? And they said, well, it's just depends on who the distributor is for the area. And so, they said, but you can order it online. But I haven't done that. That sounds like a little too much. So anyway, the travel is when we move from one place to another, we proceed, we advance, we're in a transitional form, and we're carrying something, usually ourselves, and whatever else we're bringing with us. I have some people that like me to bring them stuff from Florida when I come. And so, of course, when I go to New York, I'm carrying something back that I can't get here. In fact, my daughter and I, we are lovers, absolutely lovers of this thing called tomato pie. And look it up. Tomato pie, you can only get it in Schenectady, New York, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. It is a cold, like pizza. But when I let my daughter taste it when she was really young, it's like her favorite thing. So once we land, I have to go get some of that. And because it's cold, you just put it in the refrigerator, and it is so good. So she always gets her a few pieces. I'll get a few, but mine may still be there when it's time for us to leave a week or so later. But it's always good. Let's see. Debbie said, my husband's grandparents live in Vermont. Oh, 100 Main Street, on 100 Main Street. Oh, well, wow. We'll have to see them next time I go. I love the Cabots with horseradish. I haven't had that one. Having problems with video. Oh, you're not seeing me, Joan? Because I don't control any of that. Once I open it up, it just stays there. It may be a signal issue. Every once in a while that I'll lose not me, but they will lose the connection because I'm on StreamYard, but it casts it out to all the other areas, Instagram, my YouTube channel, and Facebook. So it does all of them all at one time. It was just too lengthy of a period to try to get them all connected. So when we start out with our T today, the T I have is for trip, because that's what we do. When we're going to travel, we're going to take a trip. And it says the trip is an act of going to a place and returning. That is what we do every time. Even if we go into the store up the street, that's a small trip, but for the most part, most of us are probably thinking of a trip as being something lengthy in terms of time. Try leaving the room and come back. It might help it. Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes it does. And sometimes just disconnecting and reconnecting works too. So the trip is when you're running, returning and going places. It's a journey. It's an excursion. And usually when we say trip, it's for pleasure, unless it's for, like, to me, like if I make a trip to the store, it may not be for pleasure, but it's for something I need, and sometimes as pleasure is, we need to have something pleasing. So we may be going out after something that makes us pleased. Oh, transportation. Okay, Joan, transportation. So a trip is also an excursion. It's a jaunt, a voyage. Time is good because it does take time for us to plan a trip and then actually take the trip itself. It could be a voyage, a vacation, a transfer, an expedition, a drive, holiday. When I lived in Europe, they do not call, their trips a trip and they don't call it a vacation. They call it holiday. I never understood that because they said, oh, we're going on holiday. And I said, so what's the holiday? They said, no, that's what we're going on. We're going on holiday. So eventually I figured out that holiday means like a vacation and a trip for them. But we say vacation, they say holiday. So I caught up. Could be a pilgrimage where they're going, say, to a sacred area of the world for quiet and, prayer and those kinds of things. Or just could be an outing, a long-term outing, a tour. Oh, yeah, tour is good. That's correct. I love the word holiday. Yeah, and it is probably correct, Cheryl. Time out. Let's go time out. That's true. That is true. So when we move on in our word, my R is so simple. It is so simple. I'm going to take a run. Because sometimes I remember my dad always saying, yeah, we're getting ready to run up to, and we would be actually talking about taking a full trip, run down to, because, we lived in New York, but my folks, their family was from, Alabama, Tennessee, and West Virginia. So with the run, even though he meant it as a run, that's what people were going to do. I don't know if you've ever read up on understanding the significance of travel by car for African-American people, but there's a few documentaries out that talk about that the car became the mode of travel for most of them, because during the 50s, the 40s, the 50s, it wasn't good travel for them on even local buses. So ultimately what they ended up doing, and then, so what they ended up doing is working their way out of that situation in the Great Migration. They all went to the northern cities. So Chicago was a big, area that took a lot of people from the South, as well as New York, um, New Jersey, and all of these cities ultimately had better working opportunities for people of color. And so ultimately they ended up doing well enough to come back and drive their way down and drive their way back. So the car became the big way of people getting around and being on travel. And so I always remember my dad saying, like when you go back home, yeah, back home was down south, you had to have a nice car. You don't show up and you in a jalopy. You show up in a nice car. And my dad always had nice cars, always nice cars. So, but that was my childhood of understanding, asking him, well, why do we? And but that's how I learned a little something. So a run, it says a journey accomplished or a route taken by a vehicle, an aircraft, a boat, especially on a regular basis. And it says it could be just the way that people travel. It's a way to go. It's a course to take. It's the journey. It might be even a circuit that people get used to. We go from this location to that location to that location. And it says it might be around a way of getting someplace. And it may be the beat, BEAT, and you obviously know that now young people probably have changed all those words to, other things. I didn't look it up, but I'm quite sure they did. Replace, rejuvenate, rewind, renew, all those great, great, great words. When I move on in the word of travel, my A is for adventure. I believe every time I leave home, even if it's just a trip to the store, it's an adventure. It's an adventure for me to see something, or it's an adventure for me to experience something and maybe come back knowing something and maybe coming back with something. But I look at it as, wow, let's see what I see. Yesterday, I think, the day before, I saw, let's see, some ambulances and they have a new law in Florida that it used to be that you're supposed to always pull over for them, but now if you don't pull over for them, they are, I think they have a huge, ticket penalty on top of you not pulling over. So they want you completely out the way, and they are working it because they come straight down the middle of the street and they're telling you move. They have the sirens on and the lights, but they, some people, their music is so loud they don't see them. They really don't know what they're doing, but they don't see them. So the run, it talks about this whole thing of being the course, the journey, the circuit, and the round. And then when we move on, it says the adventure. And the adventure is, changing positions, moving from here to there, going up there to see what's up there. It says able to move under or through the power of an experience, understanding that the scene where you were changed to another scene where you get to. And it is the trip. So there's that word again, the trip, that makes it a part of the whole travel pattern that you've experienced. Pretty cool stuff. When all of this comes together, that is our adventure. Are any of you adventurous, where you like to see different things and experience different things? I know I am. The airplane, come on now. That's a good one. Arrangement, because you do have to arrange things, adventures, and all of that. You have to arrange to say, I'm going to make a trip. I don't like folks to include me in something that's not planned. Sorry, I just don't. Generally speaking, if I am planning something, it's been planned, especially if it's something like going away and costing me money. I have my money together. I have my directions when I'm going to leave, how much it's going to cost, where we're going to stay. All of that makes sense to me. I remember one time working with my old boss. He's gone on to glory now. And he and another friend of mine who we all worked, Debbie knows, Judy, we were supposed to be going to New York City to do a conference, which we did. And we each had our own things that we were going to do. And our boss, Howard, was just so excited about a place that he had planned for us to eat at and stay at. Well, everybody knows, if you know me really well, you know I'm not easy to feed. Okay. So the food was like a German type. It was real heavy and starchy and a lot of meat that was unidentifiable to me. And they had all of this stuff. So he told us what to order. He orders the food and everything. Well, the smell alone had pulled my head to the table and knocked it back. I was just too through. I said, "Oh, oh." He said, "Now, Sandy." I could still hear him call my name. "Now, Sandy, you need to try that. That's good stuff." And even even Judy was looking at it like, "Howard, I don't know about this." We because Judy's much more proper than me. I was really silly, young and silly. So all I could say is, So anyway, we finished the food and we were paying the cashier and the attendant, and we said, "Well, now we're getting ready to go upstairs to our room." Well, the this is no lie. The woman looks at us, she says, "Really? Really?" I can still hear her say that to us, "Really?" So he says, "Yes, I've stayed here before, blah, blah, blah." She said, "Okay," and it was with a question mark. Okay. We went to the room we had to back out of it because we decided that we were going to, Judy and I would stay in the same room because it was supposed to be two it's supposed to be two queen size beds. Well, first of all, there were two beds, but they were like bunk beds. They were so nasty. The It looked like rats and everything had been in the room. And the paint was coming off the dresser. It was just a mess. And so we backed out of the room. Well, because it was a conference, New York is always a conference location. We couldn't get anything, but we stayed in a hotel that was almost like the Ritz. The Ritz Carlton. We stayed in a real, because we told him, "This is on you. You stay if you want to." We don't know where he stayed. We left him. We were done with Howard that night. And we had to go find a hotel the best way we can. And we did, but that'll just show you that the quality of food and places that you stay, you have to check them out before you start traveling. You know, sometimes you luck up and you really are pleased, but not me. So anyway, the adventure was my experience of, I'm not doing that again. And we lifted. It says, "I miss those good old days." They were good old days, Debbie. My V in travel is for vacation. That's what it is. It's really simple. It says it's a period of suspension from work. That's what Debbie said. Voyage. That's right. It says it's a period of time where you might be studying, or you're abroad. You're not doing the study as the typical study goes. It says you may be doing other activities. Usually you're doing it for rest. You're doing it for rest, recreation. You are on travel, it says. Recess, or there's that word again, holiday. You're on holiday, like the Europeans talk about it. You're on holiday. It says vacations are a break from everything. A venture, to validate, a voyage, all those are good. Value. Yeah, having value in it for you. So anyway, it says recess, holiday, break, leave. Okay, you're on leave. And that's what you ask for if you work for the government. For me, who worked for the government for 32 years, I was on leave. When I left, I left leave on the books because I wasn't a person who abused my leave. They had to pay me for 250 hours of leave, which is what they did, and that's all I could carry. And then I lost leave only because I couldn't get it in. My job was just a little bit too busy for that. So vacation also talks about it being a time off or a sabbatical. Y'all know what a sabbatical is, like where you just leave the job, but it's an agreement between you and your employer that you would be gone for 6 months or a year. And generally they do that in the academic institutions for people who are, maybe carrying on some studies someplace or finishing up a doctorate or basically doing something that pretty much is going to add continuity to not only their degrees, but also to the school's credibility. That they got people in-house that are experienced at this level doing these kinds of things. So also there's recess for a vacation. That's called recess, or just a leave of absence. Some people will I just need to go. And I'm going to take the leave of absence at my cost of not getting paid for it. Because generally a leave of absence, you're not being paid. But the payment may be in the fact that you need the rest. You need the away time from all that's being required. Some jobs are just so hard that you need to really check in on yourself, like, am I getting enough rest? Am I mentally okay? Am I physically okay? Sometimes that's why people do that kind of thing. Next I have for my E, I have is an excursion. And an excursion is a short journey or a trip, especially one engaged in leisure activity. So your excursions could be all of you all who love to take the cruises. That's an excursion, because you're going from place to place. You're not staying in one place because the boat is always moving until it docks at various, identified places to pull up and allow you all to have a good time. I haven't been on a cruise yet. I don't know. I keep thinking I can't drink all that water, but one of these days I am going to try it. Now I did the hydrofoils, which is the boat that you take between to Messina Straits coming out of Sicily into the mainland of Italy, and that was enough water for me. I was good, even though I lived all around the water. I love the water. I just don't want to be in it. I love seeing it, and I don't have to be on it, but I like looking at it because I just think it's the aesthetic of it is beautiful. But that's about it. So anyway, when we take this excursion, an excursion, of course, is a trip. Oh, the escape. Yes, that's what it is. When you take an excursion, enriched. That's what we do when we decide that we're going to take care of ourselves and we do schedule a vacation. Some people come back from their vacation so rejuvenated, as somebody used. They're just, happy. They're excited. The work, because the work is going to be there whether you're there or not. So sometimes we have to just pull back and say, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go 8 days. I'm going to go, 7 days on the trip. And then I'm going to take another 2 days off just to, get ready to come back up in here. That's what you have to tell yourself. I have to get ready to come back up in here. Let's see. So the excursion is a jaunt, an expedition, a journey, a tour. Could be a day trip, because my daughter and I will do those a lot. She'll call, "Hey, what you doing?" Well, I just finished a meeting, but I'm okay. Want to go someplace? And sometimes we'll do that. It's also a ride, a drive, like I was saying. We drove through. We drove from Fairhope into Loxley, and all that area was just so beautiful. And I said, well, we'll have to do that again. We'll have to do that again. Then they have a junket. A junket, which is, to me, they always used to say, they used to use junket a lot if the government sent you someplace and it was too good to be there. And they'd always say, what a junket. They would always tell us that. But, we were kind of exclusive in that area of what it is that we did. So sometimes we were dealing more in the public realm than the government. We were in the public realm for the government, but the agencies that we were meeting with were not on government, grounds, government facilities. So it is what it is. So yes, I did good stuff, and I got to go to some really nice places. Thank God. I thank God for it. So my last letter, yay, is my L in travel. And my L, what would you put for your L? I'm going to see. Somebody got my word. I know somebody has it. I know you. Somebody has picked it up. Who has an L for me? of what you would put down for your L of travel. Your L of travel. Let's see if somebody picked it up. I know he probably, let's see. Leisure, Ardelia, come on now. Lucrative, Joan, leisure, let's go. Let me see who else comes up with leisure. Luxury, oh, that's good. That's good. Because it's all of that. I think when you're planning your leisure, it needs to be luxurious. It needs to have, oh, luggage. I love it. Living a life. Yes. Oh, these are so good. Lucrative, because sometimes it's lucrative for you to make it. But I say sometimes you have to put yourself first. Go for it. Take your travel. Take your travel. Do your thing. All those are great. But Debbie, you didn't get leisure? What? Anyway, I have leisure. That's my number one word. It says leisure. Leisure is travel, and it refers to trips taken for relaxation and pleasure. That's what it is. Lazy. Yes. It does say someplace that it is a lazy period of time when you should be just resting, taking time out for yourself. It does say that. So it says this whole leisure life includes the segments of cruises. Wow. Travel destinations, holiday. There it is again, Cheryl. Activities, online travel market, because it says it does, you have to sometimes go through them. And then it says it says for the use of the free time for enjoyment, time off, ease, peace. I love that. Relaxation, spare time, time to spare, quiet time. It says recreation and it says respite, rest, and lazy time. Do nothing but enjoy yourselves. That's exciting to me. That's exciting, and I work a lot. Everybody that probably knows me knows that I always have something going on. If it's not one thing, it's another. But I have told myself that this year I want to rest a little bit more. I want to travel a little bit more. Probably later, because my presidency for my Rotary doesn't end until the end of June. So I still have 3 more months for that. And then you're still on as a board member, as past president for another year. So, I don't want to I still can't be away too much, but I want to start putting things in motion where I can do a few more things that are enjoyable and exciting and, fun, so that I would really look at the whole opportunity of taking a trip, being on a run, making it adventurous, having a vacation, realizing that the excursion route may be good. And then, of course, I'm seeking leisure at all costs. That would be my travel. That would be my travel. It says, love me time. Love me time is good too. Listen, this has been a wonderful session. I've enjoyed it with you guys. I appreciate you so much. Man, every word I get, I'm always excited about it when it's time to present, because I feel that the time we put in each other, of just taking care of ourselves, because I'm just asking for, 30, 35 minutes of just concentrating on you, trying to bring out some of the things you may be looking for, you may be needing, maybe wanting, maybe, needing somebody to encourage. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to do. And are you stuck? We occasionally are going to get stuck. I'll answer my own question. But listen, I'll be back on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time, and we'll have another word to discuss. If you don't do anything else, you could send a coin, but you don't have to. You do not have to. But if you would just send this out as a share to your friends and family, then that be more people that are able to find us on the Facebook Live. And it comes in through, of course, StreamYard and onto my YouTube and my Instagram. Have a wonderful Monday. Enjoy your day. Be safe. have fun, plan a trip, plan a trip to travel sometime this year. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.